Sup everyone, I'm your female otaku, and it's been a while since my last ranking video. I sorta gave up on those vids because of Watch Mojo. Since a major company was making ranking videos on anime, they would always get the most views, so my content wouldn't matter. But now, a year and a half later, I've decided to try and bring ranking videos back to the channel. Why? Well, I watched an anime that I knew I had to spread the word about, and if I didn't fit it into a video that more people are likely to watch, then it'll continue to go unnoticed. When we get to that anime, I'm gonna give it some extra long time, cause it's something, man. If you want these videos back too, then please leave a like. Okay, with all that said, let's get started. Number 10, give a... Wait, no, let's just... not. The whole ranking thing, let's cut that out. Numbers seem to really divide us, so let's just cut the countdown. Instead, why don't we just focus on the following 10 anime in no particular order? Sound good? Hope so. Okay, let's get back to the video with gay guitars, or gay-on, or soft boys, or sad boys, or this is just too precious, my kokoro is gonna burst. Given it's the kind of shonen I've been waiting for, long-term fans will know that I avoid yaoi and yuri anime like the plague due to it being way too overly sexualized. I want an actual story, characters with personality, and relationship building. You know, like your average shoujo romance. While slow-paced, given is the gay anime I've been looking for. Like Yuri on Ice and Dokusei, the relationship doesn't start with a forced sexual interaction, but over time, by simply talking to one another. The anime warms my heart, and I really hope we get more shonen like this animated. I can't 10 billion% guarantee that you'll fall in love with Dr. Stone, but I will say that this is way different from other survival anime. For a post-apocalyptic series, there's usually a lot of suspense with a ton of enemies and danger. And while there is all that to a degree, it's handled totally different. Science is the name of the game, and if we want humanity to survive this stone world, we gotta jumpstart our evolution. It's an interesting take on the post-apocalyptic genre, but I know it'll seem boring to some. One episode will give you your answer on whether or not this anime is for you, so feel free to test the waters. This anime has absolutely no right to suddenly be this good. I have no clue what happened behind the scenes, but Danmachi Season 2 has turned into a completely different series. It's gonna be a little hard for me to sell you on it now, as I know most of you probably locked away this trashy anime, but I'm gonna do my best. The first half of Season 2 gives attention to the side characters, with us learning about their pasts and how they overcome it. That, plus 2 awesome battles, the second half gets serious as we're introduced to a new character. While a really nice girl, she was unfortunately sold into prostitution, and because she's no longer clean, she feels she's not worth saving. This puts Belle in a turmoil because he wants to save her, but she's also not pure. They handle sex work super maturely, and that's a shock for an ecchi anime. Anime Matt talks about this even further, so I'll leave a link in the description for you to watch yourself. But hey, if you like a crazy glow-up, then give Danmachi a second chance. Oh boy, Fire Force. During the first 3 episodes, I was freaking hyped. Not just because of the action, but mainly the characters. They each have their own little quirk, shall we say, but when they're assigned a job, they are determined to get it done. And once we get introduced to the main story at the end of episode 3, I was ready for anything. Until we run into her. And get more screen time with her. And I'm still annoyed with this guy too, okay?
Fiona.
I've said this on Twitter, but I'll say it here. I feel that Fire Force belongs in the 2000s. I know the original creator wrote Soul Eater, which is a 2000 shonen classic, but I feel that some of the more negative cliches carried over to Fire Force. To quote my tweet, I somehow got into anime through ecchi. I didn't really care at the time, but for the past few years, we've stopped having perverted protagonists in shonen, and I got used to it. So seeing it back with Fire Force, I'm kinda like, really? The fan service happens at the worst of times and really takes you out of the moment. I'm not gonna drop it or anything, but it is something pretty jarring that I just had to mention. Lord El-Melloi Case Files is not only for Fate fans but fantasy fanatics as well. The first half of the anime roughly follows an episodic structure with a new case to solve. Through the first half, you learn about the main cast and get settled into the atmosphere. The second half follows one really complex case, similar to an Agatha Christie novel. It's a lot of fun, and having both magic and mystery is a really great mix. It's the perfect anime to watch on a lazy Sunday afternoon in the fall, so have fun binging it. Before I continue with the video, I just gotta say something important. A lot of my videos have not been showing up on people's subscription feed. I've been uploading on Mondays and every other Thursday for the past month or so, but if you haven't noticed, then please, click on the notification bell next to the subscription button. If you're not a fan of getting notifications, then maybe consider following my Twitter or Instagram, since I post about my latest uploads there. And finally, all of my patrons get to view my content early, so if you want to donate $3 or more, then feel free to click on the Patreon link in the description. Alrighty, let's get back to the video. Oh, Maidens in Your Savage Season is just a fancy way of saying anime big mouth, but not as gross. You follow these schoolgirls as they get hit with raging hormones and so many pretty boys. It was a little hard for an asexual such as myself to get into, but after a few episodes, it turned into a coming-of-age story that was shockingly realistic. Like, too realistic. Like, to the point where I had to check if the author was a woman, because this is not something your typical ecchi writer would talk about. Turns out, I was right. The original creator and director is a woman, so I really appreciate some of the common scenarios that the characters get into. Some teenage girls may be able to insert themselves in the series. I know I'm loving, but also scratching my head at how closely my high school life resembles Sonozaki's. Seriously, it feels like someone was closely paying attention to my high school days. I wouldn't say this is a must-watch, but certainly a pleasant one. Guess what, guys? I was able to get my dad into Vinland Saga! Now we're both enjoying a ruthless anime about Vikings. What a great way to bond with the Otosan, am I right? Vinland Saga is a total blast to watch. You see a tiny little kid grow up fast to become a merciless killer, and it's absolutely savage! Like, guys, I'm having too much fun here. You have no idea. However, I have to recommend that you watch Vinland Saga when it finishes airing. Episodes get delayed pretty often, and it might ruin the hype for you. In the meantime, though, maybe check out this anime. Carole Tuesday is a delight. It's the type of series that'll always get me in a great mood and put a smile on my face. I already talked about the best aspects of Carole Tuesday in a separate video, but to add, if you like anime that's more on the realistic side to the point where they talk about real-world events, then this anime is for you. And if that's not the case, then at least listen to the soundtrack, because I already bought 5 songs from iTunes and I need more. Before I start moving on to the spring 2019 leftovers, I suppose it's time I discuss about the anime that made me want to make this video in the first place. Or really, the anime that actually made me consider bringing back episode reviews. Let me sell you on Astra Lost in Space. Never heard of it? Don't worry. I didn't either. In fact, I only knew of this anime's existence thanks to my friend JoJo Talks Too Much. Astra Lost in Space is the kind of anime that the whole anime community would talk and theorize about weekly. But for some reason, that didn't happen. Some people say it's because of the fact that it's on Funimation now, but whatever the case, I am telling you to stop what you are doing and go watch this anime. Astra Lost in Space is a straight-up sci-fi with no mechs whatsoever. That's already a rarity on its own. Our main cast goes on a field trip only to get sucked in by Gants and are now floating in space. These kids who have never met until now have to band together in order to survive and get back to their planet. Because this is a survival anime in space, I had no series to try and compare it to, meaning I had no possible clue as to what could happen next. In fact, I was panicking. I kid you not, I was yelling at my laptop, freaking out because it felt like I was drifting in space and didn't know what to do. The first half of the anime introduces you to the character's special talents and fascinating planets, but then episode 6 happens, and it's all the promised Neverland from there. I'm not over-exaggerating when I say that. Each episode onwards reveals an insane twist and more questions. And the reveals get crazier each week. Like, I'm telling you, man, you will not see these twists coming because they are mind-blowing. But don't be scared. All will be answered thanks to the fact that the anime is an adaptation of a finished manga. The mangaka had a story to tell and told it well, so I am super happy that a completed manga such as this became an anime. Again, guys, you need to watch Astra. You won't regret it. Am I allowed to talk about JoJo's? I mean, it aired during the whole first month of the summer season, so I'm gonna assume it's okay. Goldenwood was something, man. I'm not too sure if I can say anything that hasn't already been said, so I'll just tell you my experience with it. This adventure was absolutely incredible. From traveling around Italy to some of the most well-crafted stand battles and our wonderful main cast, I can see why Part 5 is the most popular part in Japan. I feel that Araki improved on his writing when it came to formulating the story and writing the backstories of the characters. And it's not even just our main cast, but also the villains. Everyone seemed to have a goal, and it was awesome to see how far they'll go to achieve it. I absolutely love this franchise, and I cannot wait for Part 6's eventual animation. If I had to choose a personal favorite anime from this season, then it would go to Demon Slayer without question. I love this anime so much that I'm immediately going to read the manga when the series is finished airing. And I gotta buy myself a Tanjiro Nendoroid because he's my precious son. Anyway, Demon Slayer's second half was quite the battle. While our crew is strong, it's clear that they're not strong enough, and I'm honestly surprised. Normally in a shonen anime, especially by episode 18, the main character would have defeated the big bad, but Tanjiro didn't. It's like my first impressions video when I said that Demon Slayer takes its time. This may be too slow for some, but with all the battles and character development, I can argue that it's far from it. I really hope a second season is confirmed, but if not, I wouldn't mind rewatching this anime again a few more times. Well, I guess we gotta wrap up the video. Sorry I didn't talk about Fruits Basket, I'm just seriously behind. But let me know what were some of your favorite anime this season. I'd like to give a very special shout out to Giovanni Herrera for donating to my Patreon. If you'd like a very special shout out in the next video, stream, or what have you, then please, click on the Patreon link in the description to donate, as well as links to my social media. I'm your female otaku. Sayonara.